Olympic athletes have to confront every athlete's biggest physical fear, scientist Tim Exel reports. When people think of Olympic athletes, they're often thinking about winners, but competing for an Olympic medal is an unpredictable pursuit that results in disappointment for most athletes. Success can only be achieved through dedicated training for speed and strength, along with mastery of technique, but that training needs to be balanced with an athlete's biggest fear, that sports injury. When it comes to musculoskeletal health and injury risk, it can be said that exercise, physical activity to maintain health, is good for you, whereas sport, that's competitive physical activity governed by a set of rules, may not be, as it puts an increased load on the body's underlying structure, the muscles, bones, and ligaments. In javelin, forces exceed 7 times body weight have been reported in the front leg, and gymnasts perform hundreds of repetitions of movements in training that apply a greater force than their body weight through their wrists and elbows. And when the supporting structure of the body are subjected to these forces, a mistake in technique can easily cause an injury. A 2007 study of sports injuries incurred in competitions or training during the 2007 World Athletics Championships found almost 10% of athletes reported injuries, of which 71% happened during competition. A similar study of the 2008 Olympics reported that 11% of athletes were injured, with similar results at London 2012, Rio de Janeiro 2016, and the Tokyo Olympics 2020 Olympic Games. However, some sports have much higher injury rates. At the 2018 Youth Olympics, 43% of rugby players were injured. Sports injuries come in 2 categories: acute or instantaneous and overuse. There are approximately double the number of acute injuries that overuse, and acute injuries are usually the result of one-off freak event like a ligament rupture when landing or muscle overload causing a hamstring tear. Competitors must commit years of their life to laying the foundations of strength to allow their bodies to cope with the physical demands of competition and to produce the forces and movements that are required for success in their sport. For example, trained sprinters produce significantly more force than from their quadriceps than the general population, almost 1.5 times more. And Olympic sprinters have been shown to have proportionally greater muscle volume of their muscles that help with sprint performance, such as the rectus femoris, the muscle that is part of the quadriceps. Olympian gymnasts often start training and competition before their teens, and gymnastic rules now state that they are not able to compete in the Olympics until the year they turn 16. For many sports, physical preparation for competition relies on principles of muscular adaptation to increase muscle size, strength, and power. To increase the size of the muscle known as a hypertrophy, the muscle must be overloaded. The overload causes tear of individual muscle fibers, which during the healing process over the following days increase the size and strength of the muscle. Strength training is literally pushing the muscles past breaking point to cause growth and long-term strength gains. During recreational exercise, these tears are usually small and easily repaired by the body. However, professional athletes who want to maximize physical strength can push training to extremes, resulting in muscle injury that takes weeks or even months to recover from. Overuse injuries come from microtrauma, small damage, caused by repetitive loading of the musculoskeletal system during training or competition. A 2018 study of musculoskeletal injury risk found that people who specialize in just one sport are more likely to suffer an overuse injury. When injuries happen, athletes lose valuable training time, which can result in atrophy, thus reduced muscle size and strength. For sports that requires high levels of strength or speed, there's no other option to win an Olympic medal than to do strength training, and a lot of it. However, training does not have to be a complete lottery, and our understanding of injury risk and how to best mitigate it is constantly changing. For example, athletes can reduce the chance of injury through a structured, periodized training program. This involves factoring in the different performance goals such as stabilization, strength and power, and preparatory phases to ensure that foundation strength is established before more demanding phases. These phases are broken down into short-term days to weeks, medium-term weeks to months, and long-term months to years. Training also needs to manage injury risk factors, including genetic ones such as body alignment or limb asymmetries. Another area of research where scientists are looking to reduce injury risks is movement variability. The intentional and unintentional changes in movement that happen when we repeat the same task many times. Research seems to show that deliberate small changes in movement can prevent overuse injuries as it redistributes high force to muscle tissues over time. However, too much movement variability can be as much a problem as too little. For example, a sprinter with high step width variability may be more likely to fall or negatively compensate trying to maintain balance. In short, it's possible to win an Olympic medal without injury, but the strength required to be an elite athlete in many sports can only be achieved through activities which increase the risk of injury. The athletes who support teams best understand and manage these risk factors are by allowing athletes sufficient recovery time and not overloading training will have less chance of becoming injured. These training considerations are a small part of what needs to work as planned. Other factors such as psychological responses to injury, environmental and sociological factors, and technique dictated by the rules must all come together perfectly for an athlete to earn place on the podium. This is from the conversation here under Creative Commons by Time Excel, Senior Lecturer in Biomechanics and Rehabilitation Science, University of Portsmouth of the UK on Science Alert. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.